It appears Trump just gave Obama the final warning. He's done with the silence in the games and the traitors walking free while America burns. But what came after that warning? A storm. Whew. From Tulsi, from the Patriots, from a black man who snapped in a way that'll definitely leave you speechless. Same thing. Don't blink. Here's what they don't want you to hear.
The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking.
Yeah. I mean, we know Obama built this legacy somewhat like a fortress, protected by media, praised by the elite, and ultimately untouchable to the truth. But that wasn't when he just said Obama's been caught. It's time to go after people. That wasn't a campaign line. That was a line in the sand. Yeah. Trump's not calling out some assistant or strategist. He's calling out the man who sat in the Oval Office before him. The one who set the stage for everything that followed. And he's saying the era of immunity is over. He posted, Obama himself manufactured the Russia hoax. Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, and numerous others participated in this. The crime of the century. Irrefutable evidence. A major threat to our country, he says. Yeah. Obama committed the crime of the century, huh? I mean, you don't commit the crime of the century without watching everyone who could expose you. They spied on Trump. They weaponized intel. And if you think they won't target you, then I'll just say that you haven't been paying attention. Here's the photo that followed with it. Also with the caption, arrest the treasonous liar. You know what? I've dealt with this personally. You know, scammers, if you will. Hold up. If you getting spam calls and random weird text messages out of nowhere, it's probably not random. And it used to happen to me all the time. And look, I run the whole YouTube channel. What I didn't know is my information was already out there. These data broker sites literally had my full name, old passwords, addresses, and even stuff linked to my business accounts. Big tech, they don't protect you. And I had to learn the hard way. And that's why I started using Aura.com, the sponsor of today's video. Aura finds where your personal info is exposed, scrubs it from data broker sites, monitor your identity 24/7, and alerts you fast when something shady is happening. It even has a built-in VPN, antivirus, and financial fraud alerts, all in one app. For real, Kingdom Reacts was at risk. This ain't just a sponsor plug. This is real. They help me lock everything down. Go to aura.com/kingdomreacts right now to get you a 2-week free trial. And that link helps the channel too. It's free to try, but the peace of mind, it's honestly priceless. And that's why I can no longer allow you or your family to go unprotected. Definitely click that link in the description. Now, would you believe Obama directed officials to use already discredited intel? Yeah. This was a coup. Something that we learned in the previous video, right? You know, check this out.
From former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week, and the documents that we will be releasing later this week, that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment, that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day. The same assessment was made after Donald Trump was elected by the American people as president in 2016, defeating Hillary Clinton. And it wasn't until after that pulled President's Daily Brief document that you referenced that the Principals Committee was called in the National Security Council, and President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media, none of them are addressing this fact that there was a shift, a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election, that completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence in. They used intelligence that some of these intelligence community professionals rejected previously because of the lack of credibility and the lack of the ability to vet with any kind of confidence whether or not that information or intelligence was accurate and could be used for an assessment. There's a long laundry list of facts and intelligence reporting that directly contradict the statement coming from President Obama's office and those who are trying to deflect away from what actually happened, which was after Donald Trump was elected, led by President Obama, there was an effort to create a document that would serve as a foundation for what would be a years-long coup against President Trump, therefore trying to subvert the will of the American people who sent him to the White House in 2016.
Well, it's
Now, when you rewrite intelligence to get the outcome you want, that's obviously not leadership. It's what the left always claims. That's dictatorship, but with a Harvard smile, if you will. This wasn't rogue staffers. This was Obama at the top pulling the strings with fake intel while pretending to protect democracy. It's never about truth. What I always tell y'all it's about, I don't think I have another C word for it right now, but it's always about control with them. But Tulsi expands and says she's releasing something tomorrow. Ooh.
We will be releasing further documents tomorrow that will refute that statement. And I would go back and point to, and we will be pulling a whole host of statements that were made by the Obama administration, by Hillary Clinton, by senior Democrat officials, by their friends in the media that state over and over again after this January 2017 manufactured intelligence document was created, that repeat the narrative. And I'm looking at my notes here. New York Times says Russian hackers acted to aid Trump in the election. Obama's CIA Director John Brennan says there is strong consensus among us to support the CIA claim Russian hackers aided Donald Trump's election. Hillary Clinton said, I would be president if not for the Russian hackers supporting Donald Trump. So there is a vast body of evidence and intelligence that debunks and refutes this statement you've just read and others coming from some of the Democrat leaders in Congress today.
It's not just a rebuttal, man. That's receipts. Obama's entire defense is falling apart. Check this out. He posted right here. It says Barack Hussein Obama finally issued a rare official response to Trump and DNI Tulsi Gabbard. It's very telling. Let me see if I can make this out real quick. See. Put it this way. Bring y'all over here. Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to read it to y'all. It's up here, though. It says, in the months leading up to the November 2016, the intelligence community, IC, consistently assessed that Russia is probably not lying to influence the by using cyber means. On December 7th, 2016, after the like, listen, I know you listening to it and going, oh my God, why does he keep saying that? Yada, yada. Look, I've been demonetized a lot of times, so I really don't. I have to, you know what I mean? Sure, you see other people on the channel say it, but hey, it is what it is. I just try to be cautious. Anywho, back to what I was saying. I start back on December 7, 2016, after the talking points were prepared for DNI James Clapper, stating foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential outcome. On December 9th, 2016, President Obama's White House gathered top national security principles for a meeting that included James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, John Kelly, Loretta Lynch, Andrew McCabe, and others to discuss Russia. After the meeting, DNI Clapper's executive assistant sent an email to IC leaders tasking them with the creation of a new IC assessment per the president's request. That details the tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the presidential outcome. It went on to say, OD&I will lead this effort with participation from CIA, FBI, NSA, and DHS. Obama officials leaked false statements to the media outlets, including the Washington Post claiming Russia attempted through cyber means to interfere and actively influence the outcome of the, And in 2017, the new intelligence community assessment was released that directly contradicted the IC statements that were made. So, what was his response though? Trump said it plenty about. Then Obama said, "Okay, nothing in the Tulsi." This is what Obama said. Okay, got it. Nothing in the Tulsi document. Oh yeah, nothing in the Tulsi Gabbard released document undercuts the narrative that Russia worked to influence the presidential outcome, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. Did you see it? They were shifting the goalposts. If it's true that Obama and his intel state did decide that Russia was using cyber activity to influence the presidential outcome for Trump would be correct, along with Tulsi Gabbard in saying that this is treasonous conspiracy. It's a tactic admission. Yeah, because the timeline no longer adds up. The documents don't match the spin, and Tulsi made it clear. There's more coming. And this isn't over. This is just the beginning.
And don't tell me that that's too far. The precedent has been set. I can show you Donald Trump's mugshot. The second the communists took power, they had Donald Trump arrested in every jurisdiction in the United States of America. They tried to blow his head off and send him to prison for 90 years. So don't tell me former presidents are untouchable. No, sir. The president of the United States of America cooked the books on his orders of intelligence in order to create a false narrative about the incoming president who was about to be sworn in. He used the Central Intelligence Agency like it was the DNC. He used the FBI like it was the DNC. He used the DNI like it was the DNC, politicking with his office. That is a crime so severe, Barack Obama should never see the light of day again. He deserves a trial, a fair trial, a public trial, because that's what the American people deserve. And then he deserves to go to prison for the rest of his natural life. And not just because I hate him, but because the next time we get a scumbag like that in the Oval Office, he has to look at Barack Obama rotting in Fort Leavenworth and say to himself, well, I guess the CIA probably isn't my political arm, so maybe I should back off of that. This moment, I'm not just saying this for radio purposes, is everything for this country. I do not believe we can hold the United States of America together if these people don't go to prison. Because the American people do not believe in their institutions anymore. That ship has already sailed. And in order to earn back institutional trust, there is only one thing that works. There's not two. There's only one. Accountability.
Amen to that. Here's the lie they told us for years. Once you leave office, you're off limits. Y'all know what we seen. But when you stay in power through manipulation, you don't get to retire with a podcast and a Netflix deal. You get a trial. Because if Trump had done half of this, come on, they'd have locked him up for life. What makes Obama different? I guess nothing but the laws, right?
They're undermining our alliances, cozying up to Russia. What happened to the Republican Party? Its central organizing principle in foreign policy was the fight against communism, and now they're cozying up to the former head of the KGB. Actively blocking legislation that would defend our elections from Russian attack. What happened? Seem utterly unwilling to find the backbone to safeguard the institutions that make our democracy work. I'm here to tell you that you should still be concerned with our current course and should still want to see a restoration of honesty and decency and lawfulness in our government. It should not be Democratic or Republican. It should not be a partisan issue to say that we do not pressure the Attorney General or the FBI to use the criminal justice system as a cudgel to punish our political opponents. And the closer that we get to Election Day, the more those invested in the politics of fear and division will will do anything to hang on to their recent gains. They want to keep us divided and keep us angry and keep us cynical because that helps them maintain the status quo and keep their power and keep their privilege. In the end, the threat to our democracy doesn't just come from Donald Trump or the current batch of Republicans in Congress or the Koch brothers and their lobbyists or too much compromise from Democrats or Russian hacking. The biggest threat to our democracy is indifference.
I want to read the two comments up under here. Cash Lawrence says, he looked right at the camera knowing full well he made it all up. Mays wrote, he actually accused Trump of using the FBI to go after political opponents. Unbelievable. I mean, and that's the con. While Tulsi exposes the fakery Obama's on stage, warning us about the very danger he manufactured. He knew the dossier was fake. He knew the assessments were flawed. He knew that. Excuse me. He knew Russia wasn't the threat. He was. And still, he started acting like he was saving us. That's not sportsmanship. That's a man reading lines in a play that he directed.
Let me get just a quick moment of your time for a rant. It is necessary, and I have to get this out. What I'm going to say is going to offend a lot of people. Some of you will quit watching my channel because of it. If that's the case, I understand. This needs to be said. This has to do with everything that Barack Obama took it upon himself to say to black men recently in an interview with his wife. There is somebody behind the scenes who believes that the former president is a mentor or a daddy voice or someone that black men look up to. First of all, let me disabuse that person of that idea. Barack Obama is not our daddy. He is not somebody that we admire. He is not somebody that we seek out his opinion to help guide us through the difficulties of this life. Not even close. This week, the former president took it upon himself to suggest that black boys don't just need a father in their life. Having a father is not enough. Somehow, they need the presence of a gay man to help guide them, to help them understand the world, to help them understand their fathers. That is insane. It's insane. So in case the former president is wondering, sir, we do not need your advice. We do not seek your opinion. This is above your pay grade, and you have no idea what you're talking about. In reality, there are elements in this society that have been at war with black people, in particular black men, for the better part of a couple of centuries. Apparently, the former president is one of those elements. Telling black boys that their dad is not enough, that they don't need him, is a shame. It's a disgrace. It's a crime. Pretending and perpetrating as if you're helping people when actually you're giving them the worst possible moral advice, the worst spiritual advice, the worst practical advice is simply evil. Mr. Former President, stand down. You were not requested. You were not invited. Your opinion holds no weight. It holds no value, and we do not hear you as you were.
And just when you thought he couldn't go lower, just when you thought he couldn't go lower, Obama looks at a generation of broken homes that the fathers fighting to raise sons in a system he helped break and says, you're not enough. No, man, we are everything. We've been the ones showing up in courtrooms, classrooms, living rooms, while Obama pushed policy that crushed our communities. And now he wants us to rewrite fatherhood too? That wasn't just insulting, man. That seems rather strategic. You know, it was like it was meant to undermine the last form of order they couldn't regulate, the black family. But this man didn't let it slide. He snapped. And he said what millions of us have felt for years. You're not our daddy. You're not our savior. And most importantly, you're not even welcome to this conversation anymore, bucko. Like, where did you even come from? So here's the truth. Same thing. Trump gave the warning. Tulsi brought the proof. Jesse demanded the trial. And a black man broke the silence. Obama didn't just lose his shield. He lost the people who once gave him grace. This isn't about party lines anymore. It's about truth versus illusion. Fathers versus fake prophets. And justice versus narrative. Obama's legacy, it's not seeming that historic anymore. It's forensic. And I would imagine we're probably about to run a full autopsy. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.